So in today's video, I'm going to show you one easy trick to make you a better melee fighter in armored combat. And it's simply this. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about when you should drop your weapon. Now, before I get into that, I do want to say a couple things. One, I just got back from the Armored Combat Sports Nationals in Reno, across the other side of the country from me, and I haven't been making many videos recently. And I had multiple people come up to me at the event, other fighters, thanking me for the videos I've made, thanking me for some of the content. A couple told me they got into the sport after watching my videos, and that means a lot to me. I do this just for fun. I don't get thousands and thousands of views on videos, so it's not something that, I thought many people were watching. I just wanted to put the content out there. So to have that many people come up really meant a lot and showed that I need to get back to making more content and hopefully helping people. Second thing I wanted to say is kind of why I haven't. I've just been busy. A lot going on between training and real life and kids and job. And, I own a woodworking company. I work for a university. I teach firearm instruction. A lot of stuff's going on that kind of kept me. And I put this on the sideline for a while, but I'm going to come back and start doing it. But the other reason is that I don't feel like over the last year, my fighting has progressed the way that I want it to. I've been getting better. In many areas, but I don't feel like I've been putting the heart and soul into it the way that I was before, and I just didn't feel as comfortable making videos when I wasn't doing that. And I think that's probably a personal failing, but I wanted to kind of just share that sometimes we all struggle with stuff. If I looked at myself on like a stat bar for a video game, I feel like my grappling's gotten better, my strength's gotten better, my cardio and conditioning's gone down a little, my striking's gone down a little, so it's like I've leveled off. Same number of points in that stat bar, but just not growing overall. So that's my commitment, is to start doing more striking, up my cardio, and continue what I've been doing with the grappling and strength training stuff. So also with this particular video, I didn't want to make this video, and I'll tell you why. I was talking to one of my other fighter friends about it. I was like, I don't want to share this because this is part of my bread and butter and what helps me do well in a lot of melees for my team. But I committed a long time ago to sharing best practices and helping grow the sport and making everyone better, regardless of if it takes a little bit of an advantage away from me. So I'm going to give you a tip and a trick that isn't really that revolutionary, but does make a huge difference, which is dropping your weapon. Now, for context, I'm a rail fighter on most of the teams that I'm fighting on, at least on the regional and larger events. I tend to fight left rail. I am very grapple heavy in that position. I tend to fight shield and hand axe or shield and falchion. I prefer a two-hander when I can get it, but in my role, it doesn't fit my position often. What I'm doing many times is locking people down and grappling one, but often trying to grapple two people. That's a lot of what I do on my team. This isn't like a surprise to anyone who's fought me, so I'm not giving away anything there, is that, and if I can hold two people and constrain them and slow them down and take them out of the fight, that lets we have a one-up advantage. I've got my other fighter, my number two guy, off doing something else, and that's what we often do. So the way that will work many times, depending on the team and the play, is either I'm going to grab one guy and try to turn him into my buddy who's going to blast him with an axe, or I'm going to try to grab two people and he's going to leave me. Right, and leave me to fight 2-on-1 for a little while, hopefully get a quick takedown and then come back and support me. That's what I do and what a strength that I have. I'm very comfortable in a grapple with two people for a limited amount of time. I mean, eventually everybody loses that, but I can handle it. And if I can tie up their weapons, even better. Here's what happens a lot of times. I will be grappling, actually I'll use my little stand back here. I'll be grappling one guy up here, and the other guy will swing and I will grab his weapon, and I will have two people. And I've spent entire fights holding one guy in a position and holding another person's weapon the entire round. And they will pull it and they'll rip it, and I'll just hold on. When all you have to do in that situation is drop it, right? Drop your weapon. If you drop your weapon and run back to your side and grab another one, or pull your back up if you're carrying one, well, now suddenly I'm not in a great spot anymore. I've gone from having two people held to then being able to, have you gone, and I can't control what you're doing. Now, obviously there's disadvantages to having no weapon in a fight. You can't be offensive, you can't attack people, you can only play defensive, you have to get another weapon out. But if you're carrying a side weapon or sidearm, that's quick. But if you're right on the rail, you can often run right back to your side and get it. So if you're holding your own weapon and a person's fighting you for it and you're not getting an advantage out of it, then look behind you. If it's clear, drop it, get another one, get back in the fight. Right? So dropping your weapon is actually a really strategic and smart thing to do depending on the situation. I will often fight with my own side weapon, and I've had many times where I've gotten a weapon. I've even had weapons get like bound up in someone's armor, and like I'll just let go of it. I had a fight recently, or not recently, earlier this year, I guess, where I was doing this two-hander. I swung it, it stuck in a guy's armor plate. He had, and the back plate below it, I just dropped the axe, grabbed my side axe, and then went back to fighting. So don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid you have to hang on. I feel like it's something where people panic. They go, my weapon's my tool. If you have it, I can't fight. And they'll just hang on to it. I do it a lot with the hand. I'll hook a two-hander and pull it to me, grab that two-hander, and then try to grab someone else, right? So you can't be offensive in our sports. If I let go of this weapon, if I don't have a weapon in my hand, I can't keep fighting you. I'll get sat. That's illegal. But I can be defensive. I can break away, and I can go get another tool to continue fighting. This does rely on the fact that, one, you either have a backup on you that you can easily access, or your team is great at laying out weapons for you, either handing them over the rail if it's a traditional rail, or if it's a flat top, tabletop, putting the weapon out there for you to grab. So along with this, make sure your team understands what weapons people are fighting with, and they're putting out weapons on that table that will give you options. So if I'm running up, and I'm a sword and shield fighter or an axe and shield fighter, and the only thing out there is a 6-foot pole arm laying down there, like that's not always the best. And now I got a shield and a pole arm, right? Vice versa. The only thing out there are like little light maces, and I have no shield, and I can grab it. Sure, I can go fight. I can fight with just a mace, but I have no shield, nothing to block with, right? So I'm not fighting a two-hander. I'm a one-handed fighter with a disadvantage. So make sure your team knows what you tend to use as a team, and make sure you have those appropriate backup weapons laid out, as well as I recommend, when you can, carrying one on your side. I use actually a hammer hanger for like a little hammer hanger off like a work belt, right? So like a framing belt, and I just use that. I will say I need a better belt. Right now my buckle's not working great, and my belt's been sliding down, so I actually didn't use a backup most of the time in Reno. But I suggest having it, having something easy to access. Like this is often a backup, or it's a backup or my primary, depending on what I'm doing, but this just sits there. I can access it real quick, and I continue fighting. Another rule that's important to know is you don't have to have that weapon drawn to fight. You have to have hands on it. So what that means is if I grab this backup, it's here, and I'm tugging and pulling it out, and the guy's just, I can hit that guy while I'm getting it. I can continue to be offensive while I'm pulling that, as long as I'm accessing it. I just can't be, it can't be hanging in my belt and me have both my hands out. I have to be going for it. I have to have my hands on me fighting. Yeah, so drop your weapon. It's easy as that. If you're fighting someone and they are binding you up by taking your weapon out of the fight, let go of it, go get something else. Or at least make it a tactical decision. Sometimes you might want to fight for it. Like it's worth it, right? Sometimes you want to fight for it. Sometimes you guys double team me and you both get aggressive and offensive and throw trips and throws and everything else. Like you don't care if your weapon's bound up. But what I'm talking about is a thing where I will grab the guy's axe and he's just tugging it. Just tugging on it, just pulling it away, and I'm fighting this other guy over here. And I'm just going, great, I'll just literally stay here all day. I'll hold on to this thing like this, and I'll just hang on, and he can pull all he wants. Like I've got a pretty good grip strength. People rarely pull weapons out of my hands, so I just hold on to it, and I just go, great, this is perfect. And what if he just sort of let go? I have to decide what to do, right? I have to decide, do I go back to this person? Do I go and chase that person down? Maybe like I have to make decisions, and that puts more stress on me. Here's the caveat with this also, though, is that you got to make sure your buddy's in a decent place. So if I'm grappling the guy over here and I've got him bent over in half and I'm holding your weapon and I'm about to throw him anyway, and as soon as you let go, I let go of that weapon, I go, great, boom, and I can just destroy him. Like you can't do that. You got to protect your teammate. So the other option is, if you're not going to drop your weapon, get aggressive, get in there, right? Fight me, like bind me up as well. It's that tugging away that I see all the time, where I'm grabbing it and you're spending all your energy just trying to get your damn axe back, right? Because it's yours and you want it. There's a couple fighters out there who've heard me say it when I'm fighting them. I'll be fighting one guy, I'll grab our axe and I'll yell, that's mine. And I take it and I hold on to it and I keep it. Because as long as you're fighting your axe, you're not fighting anyone else. As long as I'm fighting someone else, it's two people to me one. We are now up a body that's running around and doing damage. That's my lesson for today. Telling you my trick, giving it away. Try it, it's worth it. Know your strengths and be tactical. Don't let the other fighter manipulate you, manipulate them. You make decisions for them. Either get in there and fight or get out of there and do something else. Again, I'm Chuck Goodwin, Woodchuck Knight. Like, subscribe, follow. If you have other videos or concepts you want to see or learn more about, let me know. I hope to get back to making these and giving away more of the things that will make it harder for me to fight you. Have a great day, everyone.